Welcome everyone to another episode of Tutorial Tuesday. It is week 27, 2019. I'm glad that you're along with us. Hey, I have one announcement today, and that is my new workshop for June 2020. But first, I want to talk to you a little bit about encouraging voices through my photography journey and yours as well. It's important for us to find voices along the way that encourage and build us up. The wrong voice at the wrong time with the wrong criticism can really have a devastating impact on your confidence in photography. So that's what brings me to these four words. Shoot through foreground interest. Those are words that I heard Bruce Dorn say years and years ago. Shooting through foreground interest is something that has been burned in my brain, and it's something that Bruce had said along the way to help build visual interest in our images. So it is with my absolute honor and pleasure to announce that Canon Explorer of Light, Bruce Dorn and I are teaming up for the June 2020 workshop down in Torrey, Utah. I want you there. Go ahead and swipe over, take a look at the video by Bruce Dorn, and then also take a look at the link, swipe over to go see the workshop details. I hope to see you there. Yes, that one's really easy to answer. Just borrow somebody's. No. Hey, I'll tell you what, if we have any shop makers out there that want to sponsor a pair for the workshop, hit me up. This question comes in from Kim, and she wants to know how to stop action and get that dust flying up. And I'm going to post a picture here in just a second, and then I'm going to give you the exposure details and talk to you about how to stop that. Now, for inquiring minds, my exposure details for that was ISO 100 f2.8 at 1/2000th of a second. I usually, to stop action like that, I'm usually going to be between 1/1600th of a second and 1/3200th of a second, depending on what I'm trying to stop, like a rope or a sliding stop. Even the weather conditions outside will affect the shutter speed, and my ISO for that matter. So take a look at that. You need a fast shutter speed to stop that action. So let's talk about light for a minute. I know this can be a very complicated subject when we don't have a complete handle on it, but I promise you that if you stick with it and if you use light, you get comfortable with it, you will find such a new discovery and you will find such a new creativity with your light. As a rule of thumb, I usually keep my light, generally speaking, about 10 feet away from my subject. I'm going to post 3 images, and then I'm going to talk about each one. I'll give you the relative distance between light and subject and whether the light is what we would consider harsh or soft, because both can be beautiful used in the right way. Now, looking at the picture of Mason and Alex, I have Alex's dad, Alex, standing about 10 feet away from his daughter, holding the light up higher than her head and coming down because I don't want a harsh shadow coming up this way. I actually want it coming down that way. And we would define harsh light as almost zero transition between the highlights and the shadows. In fact, if we look at the light that's falling on me from the window, it's a nice gradation between the highlights over here transitioning into the shadows. So let's take a look at soft light now. Now, in that portrait of my friend Chris, by the way, go download his newest album. It's fantastic. I've probably listened to it about 10 times. Okay, shameless plug for Chris. But in that portrait of Chris, what I'm demonstrating is, number one, a pattern of short light, and then also a soft light transition. So between the highlights and the shadows is a very smooth and gradient transition. It doesn't go from highlight to shadow like we would see in harsh light. So the light is approximately, I'd say 3 feet away from him. If I recall, it was very close to him, and I also had on an inner baffle and an outer baffle, and I also had a deflector plate in the dish itself. So that would be soft light. You know what? I have something special here. Canon Explorers of Light represent the Canon brand, and Bruce Dorn is one of those Canon Explorers of Light. So I'm going to go ahead and send this question over to him. Take a look at his story. there are a few things that keep me inspired, and I would say from marketing and maybe even more strategy related. Essays by Warren Buffett, even the Harvard Business Review is fantastic material. There's also a fabulous library of marketing material that you can look into as well, like Blue Ocean Strategy. That one comes to mind. Other resources, SBA.gov, Small Business Administration. The last thing I'd recommend here is the Small Business Administration, or SBA.gov, on the federal level, and then on the state level, look to your Chamber of Commerce and small business tips from your local Small Business Administration as well. And here we have the comedy portion of Tutorial Tuesdays. You know that there's an emoji that comes to mind, and it's that hand on the face thing. Yeah, that one. Boy, I could drag this question out for quite a while, but about a decade, and professionally 11 plus years, with my wife and I being self-employed. Okay, I'm going to revisit this question, and I'm going to post now a minute video by Bruce, and he addresses lenses that will help you achieve some of the best images with that camera. So take a look at this.
So what's the best extra lenses for a Canon Rebel? I'm going to assume you probably have the 18 to 55, the 10 to 22, EFS 10 to 22, STM if you can get it, and is a great wide. It's equivalent of the 16 to 35 that Chris likes so much. I love the 18 to 135 EFS STM. That thing is the equivalent of about a 24 to 200 in full frame. Fantastic. And then the 70 to 200 f4, brilliant little lens. 70 to 200 f4 LIS. You can get an awful lot out of that 118 to 135, but if you want to go longer, go with the 70 to 200. If you want to go shorter, go with 11 to 16, 11 to 22. So if you're currently shooting with a Rebel T6, you have EFS lenses, the lenses that only cover APS-C sized sensors, 18 by 24 sensors. Most logical move would be to a Canon 7D Mark II. That's super robust, a true pro camera at the APS-C sensor size. These days I'm working a lot with the little M50 with an adapter. It will take any of the EF or EFS lenses, and it's a APS-C size mirrorless camera. Also has 4K, so you can do frame grabs.
Salute to you too, my friend. Thank you for tuning in all the way from down in Argentina. I look forward to getting down there one day, so thank you very much. I love this part of it. Okay, first step, number 1, eat lots of Paisley's beef jerky. Number 2, grow a ridiculously awesome beard. Number 3, be a redhead. Okay, here it is. I'm going to tell you my secret, my ways of becoming famous. Don't tell anybody. Here it is. One thing, persistence. That's it. That's the key. That's a secret. Now go use it. This will be the final question as we close out week 27 of Tutorial Tuesday. There's a lot of factors involved here that I know nothing about. I don't know your confidence. I don't know your experience in the industry. I don't know the publication that you are being published in. So a lot of things come into play, and what I'm saying is, if you're getting published by, let's say, Vogue or, one of those very top tier magazines, you're going to be getting a significantly different rate than you would be if you were doing maybe some quarterly magazine. And there are periodicals out there that just want your work for free as well. Hey, as we close out week 27 of Tutorial Tuesday, I just want to send a huge shout out and a thank you to Bruce Dorn for being my co-host for the up-and-coming June 2020 workshop. I'm really excited to be in southern Utah and the iconic scenery that provides on this Western photography adventure. If you haven't yet taken a look at the workshop, go ahead and swipe over to that. You don't want to miss this. The workshop is half full, and we have a year to go, but it's filling up fast. So take a look at it. If you can make it out, I would love to see you.